It's cold now. That's why I have on a hoodie. But even if I have on a hoodie, I'm still going to be black and ugly as ever. However, I stay Houston down to my socks. It's your guy, Mr. Avery, like a very nice guy. Ding. Yep. And also, this is, wow. Yep, I'm Avery, and there's my brother, Just Devon.
What was that? What was that? What was
There
that?
is nothing there.
My name for a second?
You said what?
Did you forget my name for a second?
Yeah, you could start over. Let me just.
Nah, man, we sticking with it. We are here.
It's still recording.
We're
My
here.
Humble Opinion podcast. In my humble opinion podcast with Avery and Just Devon. We're back. This is the at-home edition. We've been in Zoom for a while, and I enjoy it. It's pretty good.
Zoom's not bad. Zoom's not bad. I'm gonna break the rule that I always say that I'm never gonna break by talking.
Bro, there's no rule. Just quit referencing
it's our rule. It's our rule. I always say, yo, we're not going to talk about current events, and we should talk about current events because it always, you know what I'm saying. We release late.
It doesn't matter. People want to hear your opinion of it.
It releases late. It
doesn't matter. Still,
we'd be like, yo, the Titanic. What a tragedy. Like, it'd be super late. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm angry at whatever James Harden has decided to do. I don't know what he's doing, but I'm upset. I'm upset the whole time. If you're staying here, I'm mad. If you're leaving, I'm mad. It's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. Like, and I wouldn't be, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad, sir. But I'm a huge fan, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know what has to come out of the Rockets organization. Like, they would have to reveal that the Rockets are secretly, like, the KKK. Like, the organization. Harden found that out, and that's why he was trying. Like, it would have to be something extreme where I'm like, oh, they were running a front for white nationalists? Like, wow. That's how extreme it would have to be at this point for me to be.
Is it impossible to think that?
No, the views expressed by Just Devon are Just Devon's views. They're not necessarily of In My Humble Opinion podcast views.
Just mine.
Harden, I love you. I understand. Whatever you're going through as a man, it's your decision. It is what it is. And since we're speaking about people who make decisions themselves, we have somebody on our podcast today who knows exactly about making decisions. Now, a lot of decisions that we had to make this year where we didn't know where our next meal was going to come from. We didn't know what was going on, but somebody was able to work through all of this. Okay, he's a beat composer. He's also cooks online, TikToker, rap, and all-around entertainer, businessman. He's a grown man and somebody I can officially I can just call a friend at this point. Boi Dru, ladies and gentlemen. Boi Dru, the Charm God.
Appreciate y'all for having me. I love coming on this show.
I love that you're on the show. We love your music. You've put out so much material from Call Waiting to Don't Run Out. If We Make It, one of my personal faves, If We Make It. I know a lot of people like Don't Run Out and Call Waiting, but I don't know. If We Make It, I was in that mood at that moment. It was my life.
Interesting.
Okay.
I'm happy you said that because it was Don't Run Out. A cat told me that he had listened to Bag Shake. Mm-hmm. And he was like, man, when you were talking about your parents, your mom, he was like, that was me. Like I experienced that. And you write shit and you put shit out from how you feel and you want people to relate, but you never know exactly how somebody's really gonna relate. So the fact that his story was identical, that's what's up. And then so going to If We Make It, for you to say that, I'm honored that you said that. I think it's dope. I was honestly, If We Make It was a rushed project. Like I had a project before then. I had a whole fucking 10 songs. We did a listening for it. it was private, like just a few of us. Like we went over the music. It wasn't recorded.
Okay, because that's why in my humble opinion wasn't there. All right, okay.
Yeah. No. It wasn't. It was more like it was a team meeting. Like, hey, look, this is the sound. This is where we're going now. Let's do this. So I had like a whole 10 beats. So I don't know, man. I got on my computer one day and I was trying to upload, I was trying to bring back up some tracks, and it was just all gone.
Oh,
I don't even like. It's almost like some inexplicable shit. I was just like, what happened? So it was great though, because that project, I had emotion in it that I didn't really want to put out. You know, it had some stuff in there I really didn't want to put out, some anger I didn't want to put out. So if we make it was more of me coming out of some battles while I've been doing this, because you know when you're doing this shit, you still gonna have hurdles. And then it came out great. We was like, you know what? Let's give them 5. Let's give them 5 songs. Let's go ahead and gear up for the February project. Let's give them 5 songs. And when it was done, Snooze, I don't know if y'all hear me talk about Snooze a lot, or I tag him. Snooze did a lot of stuff on Call Waiting, him and Sean. And so Snooze mixed it. He recorded me. He did Give Me a Bank. He actually produced that. And it's like, bro, when it was done and everyone heard it, it was like, bro, this is it. Like, this is where you need to start. Like, it's crispy now. So like, let's pick that up. And that's how we do, man. We listen to stuff, we analyze things, we see what's a good product, and we just scale it up. Everything's about scaling up good progress.
That's good.
And I think the last interview we had with you was I know all this stuff was in the works, but it was kind of like, you know, hey, I got this album coming out. I mean, since that time, looking at you online, it feels like we're seeing more of this team solidification. We're seeing more music coming out. Like I was telling you earlier, I'm seeing a clearer direction. Not to say that things were muddy or anything like that before, but you definitely feel like, okay, something is going on. So I guess, you know, in your mindset, what are some of the big changes that have occurred since the last interview? Because since that time, you put out like 3 projects.
Put out
and
like
some
3 or
singles.
4.
Like, you put out some projects since that time.
And stuff with M's Up.
So yeah, Milo. Hey, that's my nigga. That's my he's one of my favorite just rappers. Like, he's one of my favorite rappers. And I had wanted to work with him for a while. So when we meshed, and it was like, look, I fuck with you, I'm like, man, this is great. I was happy, you know what I'm saying? It really went like that. It was like, yo, bro, I'm listening to you. I'm like, I'm listening to you. Let's go ahead and do some music. And so my mindset, damn, you know what's funny? It was the summertime, I think, that I saw y'all, right? Wasn't it like, was it August something? Okay, so basically what was happening, I was finding my sound still. I was really still finding the sound that I wanted to go with. I was still really crafting exactly how I wanted to do it. And this was right before voicemail. So anything, like, if you hear me talking from here on out, you'll always hear me call that like my first real project, because it really made sense on voicemail. You know, I was just doing shit. You know, I'm fresh off really in the cloud, so to speak. So I had really just trying to find my sound, but I knew that I would stay consistent. So I'd already came in the game knowing, okay, I'm gonna drop a project. I'm gonna wake up this week, I'll do 5. I'm just gonna stay consistent. So that was the workout. Y'all caught me in the like preseason. It was like preseason, I'm working out. Okay, I might have bricked the shot, but yeah, he's looking good. I think he's got potential. That bow, voicemail came. I was like, okay, cool, I got it. Because once I put it out, it's like it just, everybody I sent it to, everybody was like, yo, this shit hard. And it just felt good. And then that's when I feel like, eureka, I got it. Now that I have it, what's gonna be my model now? You know, like, once I get the sound, once I get the product, what does it look like? I knew I had the ear, like the music, but what does it look like online? So then I started running like, and I'm just giving some game. I'm a product now. I'm not an independent artist. I'm a product. I'm all that shit you said is true. And I look at myself and I judge myself hard like anybody else would. So it doesn't bother me if somebody's critiquing me hard. So I said, okay, I got the sound, but the consistency in the social media really isn't there just yet. So let me work that up. What do people like a lot of? Oh, they like my beard. They like my beard. So let me throw that out there more. That's a part of me. Odie Wams shooting pictures. They love Odie Wams pictures. I was like, okay, so he's got to be a part of my program. What else? Cooking. They love my cooking. So that's got to be a part of my program. And what you have to do as an artist is find the things that people are gravitating to and give them that in a comfortable manner for you. You know, you ain't got to overdo it, but give it enough and put it in a, branded. You have to brand that shit. So what you're seeing now compared to then is me finding out how to not only make the music sound great, but present myself great as well and really brand it. And now, this was kind of our plan. We met maybe March of this year. Like I would say probably after call waiting. My team, and we were like, okay, where do we want to be when? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, by now, the in crowd had been out too, by the way. That's my brand. So that's like my Jet Life, OPM. It was like, okay, we need to bring that back. Got a nice logo. We need to get merch. We need to actually set things up. Everything has to make sense. Everything has to work together with the sound, the look, the social media. Everything has to just be a universe. And so I went from the sound to seeing what needed to go, in the universe, perfecting that, or I build the house, so foundation, build the house. Now I'm putting the furniture in there and shit and interior design. And then bam, 2021 is like, okay, boom, let's start getting some motherfucking people in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's start getting more people in here and just promoting it more. So my whole mindset had never changed. It was being consistent. Once I got that down, once I got the music right, okay, now I'm moving on to, my looks, making sure that's right, making sure my brand is right, making sure people are responding to that. Because a lot of times we do shit and we be like, you know what I'm saying? Oh shit, I'm sorry.
You good.
Yeah, but your screensaver is your album cover, so like it kind of
that worked out perfect.
Yeah.
So it was like it's a plan, bro. It's a process. In all honesty, when I saw y'all, I knew then. I said this is gonna be a 2-year thing. This is gonna be this isn't gonna be a 2-month. This ain't gonna be a 3-month. This is gonna be a 2+ year thing. But at least 2 years to get it set in to where I could just start running it up the way I want to. And then I'd collect data along the way. If I put a post up or some shit and they don't really, people don't buy it, okay, that didn't work. I put a reel up and they going nuts for it, that's what they want to see from you. You know what I'm saying? If I put a beard picture up or some shit, it's like, oh, the ladies, oh, your fucking beard. Like, okay, that's what I need to roll. So that's what you want to see. And that's going to make me, that's, more palatable for you to hear me too. Listen to me. Yeah. So that, it's all coming together. Thank y'all for acknowledging that and seeing that. And that lets me know that's confirmation that I was on the right path.
Oh yeah, because it's definitely coming together. I think it's interesting you mentioned Jet Life because the influence of current. One maybe 10. Well, when Currency was first starting, I didn't hear a lot of rappers saying, "You know who I want to be like Currency," and now that's just what I hear more and more. Like everybody's like, "Yo, I really want to be like Currency." Like that's the goal. Like even when you talk about just fame. Being super famous, they make it sound like it's miserable. Like they're like, oh, that's the last thing I want to be is like J. Cole. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that man don't even seem like he's having fun. He still got to go work. I'm pretty sure J. Cole's having a great life. But when you sit up there and you look and you see an artist like Currency, who's able to move how he moves and still does whatever he kind of wants to do, you see a lot of that influence. And I see that a lot in you guys. Like, how much were, I don't want to say just looking, but what are some of the gems and things like that you were looking at when you're trying to apply it to your own career?
So I kind of was intrigued when I heard Pilot Talk 2. I don't know if I told y'all this last time, but when I heard Pilot Talk 2, I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is, but I want that. Like, God, that's just something I'm gonna need because my ear when it comes to music, I feel like is just pretty damn good. So I liked, Ski Beats was producing all over that. So I liked where he was going with that, not to mention a guy that would eventually become my friend, my really good friend, Brady Watt, was on that record. And so I remember hearing the bass, and I was like, yo, I gotta get whoever that is playing that bass because I want to, Dr. Dre is one of my favorite producers, and I used to love how Dre was the bass and the drums, how it sound, the Chronic, all that shit, that Parliament Funkadelic influence and that funk. I wanted that. Eventually, I would become friends with that dude, Brady White, again, and he played on that fucking record. So just kind of like, listening to that and wanting that and studying him just as a person and seeing what his brand was, I always gravitated to it. I just didn't know how to put it into effect for myself. But I love the music first. Like the first thing with like a Currency, the Larry Jones, Dom Kennedy's, people like that, is like it's their music that gets you first. It's very, very great music. They paint this picture for you to think about. You know what I'm saying? And then you see them and it matches. I don't never hear niggas getting shot up at a fucking Currency,
No.
Dom.
I don't even hear people getting mad at a Currency.
Yeah.
You can't be mad there. Like,
right.
Why?
Right. So like I seen that and I always admired it. And as far as like his regimen of putting out records, because we gotta also know this too. He started that shit. Currency put out projects, and everybody's kind of follow suit. So that didn't kick into the course recently. But I think it was that, I would say 2010 to now, besides fucking Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, that probably was a record on me that just had a great impact. And then of course my nigga, you know what I'm saying, Stanley Lincoln Way Nights. That definitely that definitely had an impact on me. I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So it's funny how the world work and God work. I befriended Stanley and I befriended Brady White. You know what I'm saying? People I really admire and I'm a fan of. So yeah, dog, it's kind of been in the making for a while.
Now the other thing too is every time I talk to you, I don't know if you notice it. It could be subconscious, or whatever. You are constantly bringing up the fact that you have a team. Like this is what we were. It's not a Boi Dru, I did this. It is like we have been working on this. We decided what was going to go on this next album. We decided to scrap all that. We are going to do this. So, what was the importance of putting together that team, and just how'd you go about it? Because there are definitely artists that are like, yo, I don't know who to go grab, who to go get. Like, how did you put, like, just chronologically, how did you kind of build that up?
So first, let me say I've always thought about team. I was in the Navy. So, one team, one fight. You realize that you're going to need a team of people to get shit accomplished. It could be the matter of life or death. Nobody can do something on their own. That's number one. Then number two, I just been a student of the game. One of my favorite examples of a guy that knew how to put together a team and put the science to it was Berry Gordy in Motown. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? What did he do? How did he do it? Okay, he had songwriters. He had producers. He had all this young talent. He himself was a musician. And they had this fucking system. I want that system. I said that shit probably around the time I first met you guys. I was like, man, I want that system. But then I had to look at it and say, what does that system looks like? What does that look like in 2020? I really, I knew I wanted some tech in there. I knew I wanted some tech in there. But I had to really kind of sit with it for a little while. So COVID happens, of course, COVID happens. And then I really had to say to myself, what would happen if this was just online? What would you do? What would you do? What if you can't see nobody? What if you don't ever do a show again? What does that model look like? And how would it translate to a face-to-face situation too, or a mixed reality situation? So that's how I built the team. I wanted a small team. I knew I wanted a tech guy. I knew I would need everything that goes along with the visuals. So, a camera dude, or, pictures, and then just someone, a manager, somebody that could tell me, hey, I got that. Are you tripping? And I could focus on making music. So how did it come about? Putting out music that people fucked with. When I put out Voicemail, that's when Reggie was like, yo, bro, you got some shit. I believe in what you're doing. What's up? This some shit I could get down with. I'm like, bro, you're a tech nigga. Like, I need that shit, and you could help me just code and come up with some shit that I probably can't come up with on my own. You know, that's just a massive thing to have. And then as far as like a friend of mine, we were in the military together. He was like, I want to be her manager. I fucking heard your music. I really believe in what you doing. I know he got the discipline to do it, even though he's new at it. Like, yo, I want to help you. Let's build a team. Let's bring it. He just started talking to me in a way that made sense. He started talking some philosophies on just like, hey, remember how you did this in the military? Remember how we was moving? You're going to have to apply that here. So when people start talking the shit that I like, and I'm like, okay, we're starting to move organized. Reggie was like, yo, you got to get LLC. You ain't shit. You ain't got no LLC. Oh, we need to get a bank account. You need to get a bank account. Oh, you ain't shit till you get that. Like, if we're gonna really make it a business, be a business, we're gonna, we're having we have 3 meetings a week. So it's like, we got a marketing meeting on Monday. We got a operation meeting on Wednesday. We got a follow-up meeting on Saturday. Monday we're talking about content again. What's going on for Drew's Day? Like, you gotta really put that type of work in, because that's where I want it to go. So, man, one is God. I can't, neglect that God is just favorable to someone that has faith and put work into it. And then the team that team came together. I'm like, okay, this is a small team. Great. And, then eventually I came over to where I'm recording it now at Wolves Den. And then that was like some more additive people that like, hey, you'll see when you get over here, it's a whole fucking setup of live show stage, and it's wild. And so I was like, okay, this is what I need. Now, I don't want to be just putting out shit and making decisions on my own. I need these guys to tell me what's good for me, like what's best for me, because I have to think about this as a businessman. I don't just look at it as an egotistical artist. I'm a businessman. I'm like, hey, is that Boi Dru album good or not? Because if it's not, what the fuck? Like, I want to make money. When I decided that I wanted to make money, when you decide as an artist that you want to make some money, you will look at it all differently. I guarantee it. Don't a lot of artists, dog, like, and I'm so past this stage of help me, come do this for me, or please, give me that chance. It's like, first you just got to go through the stages, like any business. Study the business, see what it's gonna take to get into business. What do you need to have, and start putting those pieces together to make it happen for yourself. And in today's world, as an independent artist, you can be an independent label, an independent business. So that's how we just started looking at shit like product. Like, it's a product, it's a business. We need a team for that. I'm a product. I don't even look at it as I'm a rapper or a producer. I'm a brand. I'm a product. What do we need to attach to that brand? Does that answer the question? Because I ramble. I love talking about that.
No. It does, because it kind of hits on a couple of points. I will say, because you echo, I think it's interesting because you're echoing the kind of a self-reliance when you're talking about your work and you're relying on your team and things like that. When we were talking the other day, the DeLorean was basically echoes the same thing. This is, you just got to do it on your own, which, like, I am going to say, instead of saying, because I think it breaks down a lot of times, because people are like, oh, okay, you're a new artist, and I see how you thinking like I used to think. So instead of talking about like a newer artist that's just getting into it, what would you say to your younger self as a young artist coming in? What are some of the things that you are now doing different? Like, if you could go back in time and be like, look, man, Drew, stop. You know what I'm saying? Let's do this instead. What are some of those things? And maybe people will see, okay, like, I give myself my own advice, that kind of thing.
I wouldn't change a thing, and I'm going to tell you why. It's probably going to sound like a weird answer, but if you want the stars to line up, so to speak, you got to jump off. You got to try. You got to fuck up to see. If you never make mistakes, if you never know what it feels like to bomb on stage or have a terrible show, or if you never know what it feels like to blow a bunch of money on a scam, you won't really have insight on the situation. And then you have to have this mentality. The one thing that I think that I did at times that I would probably tell myself is don't give up. I really never gave up, but I would stop at times. Like, I would stop at times because it just became too much. I didn't know where I was going. But even in those feelings, you need that. Like you need to face defeat. You need to face those things, because just like working out, right? You work out, you lift weights, you break your muscles down, that shit hurt. It doesn't feel good. But once you heal and you go back to do it again, you shape out. You know what I'm saying? So I think everything I did, and a lot of it was retarded. It was really great, from spending $10,000 on an album that really wasn't that good to to just I mean, all of it. You have to learn it, because here's the thing, especially here in Houston, and I know we've talked about it a lot. It's really, times have, I would say, even from 2010 to now, there are no real. I mean, A3C has conferences. I've never been to A3C. South by Southwest, I know they have conferences, but as far as like people, everybody can't make those events. There aren't a lot of places or a lot of mentors, I feel, in the game, or when I was just doing it, that could pull me to the side and really give like what y'all doing, this shit right here. Mm-hmm. If a person just look at y'all fucking whole goddamn catalog of podcasts, they're gonna learn a lot. And it just wasn't that way. So I had to learn. I had to figure out things. I don't think I would change. And even someone out, they could look at your entire podcast. You can't do it the way you saw someone else do it. It just gives you a little insight. You still got to go do it your way, because it's going to be unique to you. So I love everything I did, because I took some real ballsy chances. Like I really took some real chances, and I feel good about where I'm at today and where I'm going. You have the biggest thing is, you can't come in with expectations with this. You can't come in with like, you want to succeed. So always know that you want to succeed, but you can't come in with like some definitive markers of what's going to happen or where you want to be, because things change. Because look at everybody that was making all that money doing shows before COVID. COVID hit, shows gone. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So you got to always be willing to adapt. You got to look at the situation. And that helped me too, like going through losses and taking losses. I don't know if I told y'all about the Fitzgerald show we did. So it was like In the Clouds, J. Kell, we did this Fitzgerald show before Fitzgerald went, racist. And we had Malal there. We had, the U there. Jack Freeman was on that show. This is a show we put on. Man, we made some really decent money. It was like 600 people there. And I thought that, okay, this is it. Like, we're getting there. We're doing stuff. And then she goes racist, and then that venue's gone.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that relationship, now what do you do? You know what I'm saying? And I kind of felt like at that point we were just kind of like, or I was like, well, damn, what, that's a connection gone. Now we got everybody stacking up to go into White Oak, and that's going to take forever. So you can't hinge plans on one thing. You got to just adapt, and, you'll learn. Experience is the best teacher, man. You just got to do it. Then you can get to this stage and be like, oh, okay, I know this, I know that. I know that this doesn't work. I know that doesn't work. But that doesn't mean that information won't change. Because everything that I'm talking about now can be totally different in 2 years. That's the game.
Absolutely.
That is the game.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest thing you wasted money on? You said $10,000 on an album that you didn't like?
So I was in Virginia, man, at the time, and my homie, it wasn't his fault, but my boy Brad Rosenberg, man, he was working with like Chad from the Neptunes, and Chad from the Neptunes would be up there sometimes. He was working with Pusha T and all these motherfuckers. It wasn't Pusha T. He was working with
Roscoe
Malice.
I don't know.
Yeah. His brother, Polly. You know what I'm saying?
Because it was in Colche too.
It was in Norfolk. You know what I'm saying? So probably, man. But I had to pay the cost at that time. This is 2008, so I'm paying the cost and paying producers and all that other stuff. But I wasn't ready. I didn't spend enough time with my craft, but I still needed to have that experience. I still needed to get my vocal presence right. You got to pay for that. It's an investment. So really, I was just educating myself. Yeah. I paid $10,000 for education, like, vocal presence. How do I want to sound on the mic? What type of, plugins and shit I want to use. You gotta invest in yourself. So even though it was like a lot of money that I spent, I really still needed to spend that because I wouldn't have learned that. I wouldn't have learned, okay, this is how I want to sound. This is the kind of vocal chain that I want to run through, or, you know, oh shit, you know, this is what it's like to get these, you know, fucking musicians in and work with them and coach them and do this, you know what I'm saying? This is what it's like to have Chad come in and that's pretty cool, you know what I'm saying? You're like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But it's all right. It's fucking Chad, right? You know what I'm saying? At least it's okay. I'm starting somewhere. So you gotta be in those spaces, man. And if you don't never fucking put your money where your mouth is, make some investments, you'll never get there anyway. To be honest, you gotta put some fuel in the tank. So I mean, it wasn't a good album, but I think a lot of the money I spent really went towards learning shit.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm cool with that.
It always seems like that, especially like when you first start doing music. Because when you first start doing it, you don't really, there's not a class and you can get somebody who can teach you, but you know, that costs money and you don't know what to do. And a lot of people I've seen just come in or think that, you know, I could just get on a mic and I'm going to sound like this and whatnot. I'm like, no, sir. There's these things. They're called plugins. There's a dude. He's an engineer. He mixes you. He does all of these things. Like, you need this information. How has that helped you as far as knowing how to mix and how to produce and everything? How has that helped you in your career?
Oh man, tremendously. First off, I gotta give all the props to Marcus Hardhead Richard over at Fresh Sonic, who really he been doing this shit since we was in high school, like out his garage before computer. I'm like, computers, this nigga's trying to make music on a computer. That's silly as fuck. Yeah. But he saw where it was going, and he took the time out to really learn that. And later on down the line, when I came back to Houston around 2011, you know, I was able to start working with him. And then just over time, learning shit, asking questions, sitting in and paying attention. And I went to Art Institute too for a little while, so I learned even more. But by the time I got to Art Institute, shit, I was fucking good. I was cold. But it was like I just asking questions. What does that do? And then technology changed, like, because I was, you know, I was still in, again, like, okay, 2008, we still gotta, you know what I'm saying, we still got a switchboard, you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying the technical term, but you know, we still
mixing boards.
Yeah, well, no, patch bay. So we still taking things from the patch bay and going into some good gear, you know. But it was still that situation. To now, it's some hardware there, but it's all plugins. It's this, you know, technology, software. So I just learned from him, you know. Okay, where do I crank my preamp? You know, where do I, you know, how do I want to set the levels? You know, EQing, listening for the actual, it may be too high at this, you know, bandwidth. Like, I just wanted to really get in it, because the one thing that when you listen to my records, and I'm gonna hold my nuts on this, you know, you could put my shit up against anything you hearing out.
Yes. Sounds
you could put I don't give a fuck. Like, you can put my shit against anything you're hearing, because I'm aiming for that. I want my shit to sound like, if you turn off Kendrick and you turn my shit on, you shouldn't feel a way about it. It should, as long as it's an underground record. I don't ever want you to feel like I'm an underground artist.
Okay.
I'm not a, you know, even though that may be true when you're going through your journey to be whatever you want to, they can call you an underground artist, but your product should be able to be like, whoa, who the fuck is this? Yeah. Like, that's what you want. So really working with him transformed my sound. And then I think what happened was, again, voicemail. Y'all gonna hear me talk about a lot. I went in there and it was on I did that album on a microphone I built, actually, because that's another thing that I do. Yeah. It's a little delayed right now. We're trying to figure out when we're gonna drop these microphones. But those first two projects I did on a tube microphone that my cousin and I built. So I have a microphone company that's supposed to come, but we'll say that for another time. Well, we can talk about it, but it's a lot.
We absolutely want to talk about it, because what prompts you build a microphone?
So when I was at Art Institute, man, there was this dude named Dr. J, and he was like, hey, you know what I'm saying, this nerdy motherfucker, but he was like, hey, you could build a $4,000 mic for a lot less. And I was like, and it I was like, what? Like, okay, what are you talking about? Now, my homie Decap, you know what I'm saying, who's a producer. I don't know if y'all have heard of Decap, you know what I'm saying, doing a lot of great shit. He's got the drums that knock. That's his sound kit that he sells, man. That shit's been on all kind of shit. But actually, when I recorded this project called The Gate with him and Brady, it was on a modded mic, but it still didn't register that. I was like, a fucking microphone, circuit boards, okay. So when he said you can get online, you can find the schematic to a microphone and build it. And so I was like, wait a minute, my cousin went to ITT Tech and he works in the oil industry and he could do that shit. So I sent him the diagram of it. I was like, look, do you think that's something you could build? He said, man, that shit is child's play. I was like, oh. So we bought everything we needed. And this was back in 2015. So it was like we were just pretty much trying out different mics and tubes. And then I finally got to put the microphone over there at Fresh Sonic. So like NBA, Young Boys recorded on it. There's been people to use the microphone that I've had over there, some notables. So, and this was just a prototype. So I took that mic shit. I wanted to make a microphone that I sounded good on, and I felt like, my mid range really just kind of, my speaking voice is really good. Like when I was rapping real hard, people would be like, I don't know if I like you rapping like that, because I like your speaking voice. You're gonna have to find a way to, bring that into your, repertoire. So I did, man. Like I was like, okay, I need a mic. The mic is everything. Mics are very important. People will tell you they're not, but they are. So I got the mic, I would record, I pull it out to the big room, and I just started recording myself and mixing myself and, comparing it to other projects or songs that I thought were really amazing. You know what I'm saying? Your recording environment is very important. You can do a lot of shit at the house, but I've always been a believer in, even at the house though, it's how you build it. Yeah. How you make it sound, how the environment is. It's very important. If you want those type of records that you're listening to, on the radio, there's some science to that shit. There's some protocol to that. I don't know why people get, I could just get a mic and like, nah. There's some you could do some shit. You could do some shit. Now, I ain't gonna lie, you could do some shit, but you really want to get a good signal in. You want to get a good signal in. You want to get a good clean signal in. You want to have your beats tracked out. See, this is another thing that make me, I feel like, stand out too. And I learned this from.
For the listeners though, what do you mean by beats tracked out?
So I'm gonna say this. I learned, like, when I working at Fresh Sonic and engineering for people, they would always bring 2 tracks in. Like even some guys that was just, really making some headway. They'll just bring that, that 2-track in, which is the way, that one beat. And they'll be mixed great. There's some guys pumping some, just that one wave, that 2-track out, that's dope. But what I've always realized is that what I mean by having the beat tracked out is all the instruments separated. So that's the kick, snare, hats, melody, everything separated. That mix, it sounds phenomenal. It's just a better mix. You can sit the vocals in, you could do so much with that mix when it's that way. And all my music is like that. Yeah. So being able to produce for myself, so not only being able to record myself, also being able to produce, I understand, or I can produce, I can export these sounds out, put them in the Pro Tools and arrange them the way I want, to give it that dynamic, give it that movement.
Yep.
It just makes everything much more powerful for the sound. Because I'm all about the sound at the end of the day. The music, more than anything, I do consider myself to be a music guy. So yeah, like, yeah, dude, like I learned that shit from Hardhead. Then I said, okay, I could really do this shit for myself. And I saved money doing that too. Like, okay, I got to learn how to do this shit because production can cost, and you should pay your producers. Y'all don't want to pay y'all producers.
I mean, you've got it down pat. Like you're a businessman, similar to like a Dr. Dre. He got the speakers, you got the mics. That's such a good thing. And with you having a clear vision on your business, tell us about Dru's Day.
I'm so glad. So y'all probably do y'all know another Reggie from Modern Renaissance? Do y'all know Reggie?
I don't.
Y'all might know. I mean, Hash knows him. Hash knows him. They grew up together, but some years ago, man, he came up with that idea for me. He was like, "Hey, bro, you should drop something every Tuesday. Call it Drew's Day." And I just kind of put it in the back of my mind. Then my homie, my manager, he brought it back up because he remembered that, like, yo, bro, you should do. The whole purpose of Drew's Day is to keep you engaged so we can tell you what's coming next. Because the one thing that we realized is, even though we put these records out and people are listening to us, we hadn't done, and I'm willing to share this with the audience. You know, we didn't do it. We haven't really done the best job of our rollouts yet, even though it seems like we had. We really hadn't rolled you up to a point. So it was like, okay, how can we get people engaged enough and keep them there to when it's time to tell them about something coming, they'll know, you know, they'll remember, or they'll always be looking forward to it. You kind of got to like give you one thing over here, but I'm gonna give you something else over here. So it's like, okay, what's the one thing that motherfuckers want to see the most? Seems, oh, you're cooking. They love that cooking shit, and they love seeing you cook. So I was like, okay, we'll just do that every Tuesday. But not only will we be cooking, we'll give game. Like Drew's Day's gonna start expanding. Like y'all gonna start seeing my whole everything we're talking about here. You're gonna see me do it. You're gonna see what that you're gonna see what that looks like. So starting now, actually, starting next week, we're gonna start talking about this next project coming up. So you're gonna get food, and you're gonna start understanding the in-crowd culture, what it's about, and it's every Drew's Day, because on Drew's Days, albums come out on Drew's Days too. So the next album that comes out will be on Drew's Day. So it was just, we got to engage our audience. You know, we got to engage our community. And I don't want to say fans, because I don't look at the people that's in the in crowd as fans. It's like, this is a community. You know, you can learn from me. It's a movement. Yeah, you can call me, and it's people that do that. Like a cat heard my music from Kansas City and was just like, yo, this is hot. Like, but how do I do that? And we talked on the phone. I just, hey, bro, like I'm just like you. I'm just figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm no different than you are. I just figured it out. Here, do this. Let's do this. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to my homie Hot Rod, you know what I'm saying, from KC. And it's just like that happens a lot. People inbox me, bro, a lot. Like, yo, what's up? Like, how are you doing this? What do you do? And I don't mind sharing that information. So it's like, okay, Drew's Day is also a great way to not only show off shit, but educate too. And you can see through my woes and through my pains. I don't mind sharing that. Cause this shit ain't always easy since I seen y'all. I didn't have some up and motherfucking down ass, you know, it shit been up and down. But I knew that the product is so tight I couldn't stop. So like let me just keep at it. So Drew's Day is game day, man. Drew's Day is game day. You can see me cook. You're gonna see me in the studio. You're gonna see whatever we're doing. You'll see it then.
Okay. So when do the mics come out? What we gonna start with mics, things like that?
So man, you know what? Look, I ain't gonna lie. This mic shit has been really spectacular. From like, so we basically, and I don't mind sharing this either, man. It's free game. So we were working with mic kits, essentially. We were working with microphone kits. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. You know, we need to find somebody who can design our own circuit boards, or we get some circuit boards, put our logo on there, design the the body and all that, and find the people that can actually know those systems to do that. And we found them.
Round up,
and we found them that can actually, like, we got some guys that designed a whole microphone for us from like everything, you know what I'm saying, just from every piece of that microphone. You have to have, it's like, again, it's like a schematic. It's like building a house. You have to have all that fucking, you know what I'm saying, shit together. So we have to find somebody to do that. And then the next part is, of course, manufacturing. You know what I'm saying? I know it's China. I know, goddamn, it's China. I know how we may feel about China, but we've got some shit going on with China where we can, get them to manufacture a lot of parts. We're trying to do some American trying to find American companies too that aren't too expensive. So it's really a process. When you want to do something like that, if anybody wants to do it, it's not just a, oh, I'm gonna just go do it. Like there's a process with that too, just like making music. So what I hope is that maybe by the summer of 2021, we could be looking at a small drop of 10 mics before we really just get into just, putting them out, because I think we're still a ways from like quality control needs to be improved. Like I want to know things like, how long does it last? What would be our warranty? It's so many questions you have to ask and I have to feel comfortable with. It's coming, but like anything, you got to really ask those questions, what happens when, because that's a big product. Because I mean, we want to hit the market at least $700, $600, $700 a microphone. Starting.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, it's a great mic. So that's it. It's coming. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot to it. It's really a lot to it. And we're just kind of still in that stage of, since we're taking this really serious now, of answering all those questions.
All right. Okay, so you got the mics coming out. You're developing more of the in crowd. Let's talk more about the music too. So you went on, I don't want to say a run, but like we were saying, you released a lot more projects than we're necessarily used to seeing you release in a shorter period of time. Like I got YouTube Music, so literally it'd be like, "Yo, Boi Dru got another." Boi Dru, I was like, "Dang, really released a lot of stuff." So you said what?
I said he just released something.
That's what I'm saying. So what are the plans? Because you say you have a release coming in February, and also, I mean, it's a lot of melody. I mean, you gonna be singing a lot more on this one as well too? Because I heard a lot of singing on this last one. I heard the track. We were playing with the singing. So yeah, what are the plans for this February album?
Man, you'll probably definitely hear a lot of that. You'll definitely hear me rap more too, because I've heard people say, I want to hear some of that rapping, like some of that shit you be on. But let me say something about If We Make It before I even go into like the future of the music. If We Make It was really like a Houston fall influenced record, because like fall in Houston is different. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of warm still, so there's a still warm vibe to it. And then it also definitely was very like leaning more towards the ladies. You know what I'm saying? Like I really was kind of speaking more to the ladies on that, and just some personal experiences I had. And I plan to go into that more in my records. But I was kind of shocked with like Love Bliss and Pick Up the Phone, how much people really like that shit. Because like with Pick Up the Phone, I was just like, so here's my dream, and I hope she sees this. Miriam Echo. Do y'all know who that is?
I've heard the name, absolutely.
Okay. She's a singer here in Houston, man. She's phenomenal. I'm gonna tag y'all in that stuff. I imagined someone like her like singing on that shit, or just like really singing the hook for me. But time crunch, couldn't do it, so I did it. And I liked it. I like how it came out. So I think like Love's Bliss and Pick Up the Phone really showed me, okay, I could do that more. I could get away with that. So you'll probably get a combination of it all. I think you're definitely gonna hear the drums stay hard. The melodies, you'll hear the melodies increase. I do have a couple secret weapons I plan to use. Like this year, I plan to really pull away. And what I mean by that is, okay, so let's say you've heard the sample. You might have heard a sample, or I've used sample packs. Like I'm pretty sure I've used sample packs that other producers have used. Coming soon, I'm gonna have some shit you can't find nowhere, because it's gonna be all done in house. Like it's gonna be, you gonna be like, I ain't there, like, whoa, cause I know it's in me to do that. So yeah, you finna hear some shit like, oh my fucking God, like, and it's just original. Ain't no sample, ain't no none of that. Like it's being played, and it's it will be prestigious as far as on the melody side. So man, it's just in me, man. Music is in me, bro. I could get up and make 2-3 beats in a heartbeat. It's not a problem. Like it's just, music is in me. I can go find samples. I have a wide range of knowledge when it comes to music. A lot of producers and rappers or artists, period, I think don't really listen to a lot of music. They really don't. Like, I'm listening.
They can't. Because you hear the opinion sometimes. Like I think I hear opinions on people's music sometimes, they'd be like, oh, especially if an artist does something avant-garde or a little bit out, you know what I mean? They'd be like, oh, I don't like that weirdo stuff. But I was like, but you told me you like Prince, and this sounds like Prince.
Bruh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude was obviously going for like a Prince theme, or this one was going for like a Bootsy Collins type feel. So you told me you like that music. So how you gonna say it's weird now? Because you just saw him doing it. So it's weird sometimes when you're listening to people's musical opinions, and everybody had their own opinion. It is what it is. But I was like, I like the idea of consistency. Like, if you don't like it, I totally understand. But don't tell me like, oh, I love this, I love this, I love this. And then when somebody does it, you go, oh, that's weird, weirdo ass dude. You know, like what? So yeah.
With that being true, like who influenced you to be so exploratory?
Man, two people, man. My dad, man, a lot of people actually. My father, my aunt, me and my brother have the same mother but different dads. His dad, I had a really good relationship with his dad. And you could go to their homes and see vinyl. So I would just look through vinyl, see vinyl. I grew up on that shit. So I'm like, man, all kind of shit. I'm talking about Man Child. Y'all know Babyface was in a group called Man Child and shit, right? So shit like that, and Midnight Star. But then you got Earth, Wind and Fire, but you got the Eagles too. Like my dad would listen to Sunny 99.1. So we just be listening to Sunny 99.1, and I hear the Eagles and Bunny Ray, and to my ears, it sounded good. So Carole King, I'm a Carole King fan. Songwriting, these things were just always there. I could, we'd come home from school and shit. My dad was a school teacher too. So, on our way from school, we listened to fucking Sunny 99.1. Sunny 99.
Yeah.
So we'd be listening to it, and it just, man, they'd be playing some great music. So I could easily go from that to soul to some old hard ass rap. And so those things over time just began to blend. There was a point where I didn't know how to put that together though. I didn't know how to make that really move. But man, my family, people like that, and just listening to it and being open to it is what really influenced me. And that shit's good, bro. Like there's nothing, or jazz. I love jazz music. Like listening to like Miles Davis, that shit, that music, the way it's recorded is like none other.
Yeah.
So man,
mics are important.
Mics are important, man. Especially jazz. Those jazz records, if you listen to them, are insanely recorded. Like that shit is engineered. This is like in the fucking 50s. You know what I'm saying? This shit is sounding amazing. So that's really that, man. I like listening to different types of music. I always have. There was a time where I really didn't listen to rap like that. I just didn't. Like I love hip hop, but there were moments, I could go moments where I would just listen to a lot of other types of music. You know who really does that for me though? Helps me kind of get the melodic side, the singing, but I still get some good drums, is Anderson .Paak.
I can understand.
Yeah.
I really be taking from Anderson .Paak. I ain't gonna lie. So let me give you an example. Like I'm gonna say pick up the phone and like Love's Bliss. It may not, I put it in my own way. I listen to a lot of Anderson .Paak. I like how he really approaches his music. I love how he approaches his music. So like I love that shit. And then Free Nationals.
Yeah.
Listening to that shit's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Because Anderson .Paak really comes across as a singer that can rap. Yeah. And I hope that's not offensive to any rapper singers. Like there are some rappers that sound like rappers that can sing, and there are some singers that are like, I'm a singer, but I can rap. And I think he has a really good blend, but he leans towards the singing, and you hear the melodies. Yeah. Avery and I talk all the time, like, what were we talking about? Like New Jersey. There are certain East Coast artists where I was like, Doug, you can hear, you love Bruce Springsteen. Like, I know you do. Like, I know you love a guitar. Like, you love a guitar and no drums. Because that's what y'all want to rap over. Yeah. Like, if they give them a guitar drum sample, like, some of my favorite Joe Budden tracks is literally like no bass, just came on the guitar because I said, this is what you like. You love this. If people would be like, oh, I don't listen to certain types of 80s rock music, but I was like, I know who loves it, and that's Dipset. Like their whole catalog at one point was literally, I'm like, y'all was listening to your parents' music, like you could hear it.
Yeah,
like, coming across.
They were.
So yeah, having those influences, it makes you a better musician. You gotta listen to everything. You can't listen to just one thing.
Yeah, it makes you. Yeah, you're wide open. You're ambidextrous and what you choose to put inside of your music. That's a positive thing. And just watching you do that always, I mean, it always sounds so good. From where we met you to where you've come now, you have gone a long way. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I've seen you, you've gone a long way. And you've always been peaceful. There was a point. But now it's like.
Do you know that song is my, and it's unfortunate. And I could talk about, look, I have nothing but love, for the guys I used to work with. But To Whom It Concerns is a highly streamed song.
Yeah. I remember when you put it out and I DM'd you. I go, it's like that. You go, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Word.
People like mess. We all do. People like, oh, what happened? Let me.
But it's just but I think the thing. So the play on that was I still wanted it to sound good.
Yeah.
I wanted you to want to listen to it a long time.
Got it off your chest.
So yeah, I'm peaceful, man. I'm peaceful. That's original track too. No samples, no nothing.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, look, man, we appreciate you taking the time out. We're gonna see you in a little bit anyway, but we appreciate you really reaching out. You always accept the call and you'll come on the show. And we're looking forward to the new music you got coming out. Again, just for our listeners, let them know where they can find you on all the platforms.
Man, so I know y'all see. Do y'all see my name in the Zoom shit?
No. They can't see it. They can't see it. That's why I gotta tell them.
So I'm Boi Dru, BOIDRU music. Go Boi Dru music on Instagram. Really, if you go to Instagram, you'll get everything you need. That's why I made it like that. So you got to go a bunch of places, and that's my Twitter too. But you can go there and get the links in my bio for music and all that. InCrowdRecords.com. Everything is there. You can go from YouTube from there too. So just follow me on Instagram. I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, look, man, we appreciate you coming out. Anything to make Houston better, man.
Anything to make Houston better.
I want to say something to y'all too before we go.
Oh, go
man,
ahead.
what y'all are doing
put it on him.
My bad.
And I told Doug this too. Man, what y'all are doing is just amazing. Seeing Fifth Ward JP and all the people that y'all got on there, on here is yo, they y'all are tapped in right now. Y'all know what's going on. Y'all are really tapped in, and we need this shit. So yeah,
we appreciate that. And I am gonna say this, we only are able to make connections due to artists like you guys. So please, because we talked to certain artists, they've been like, dog, I was waiting for you to give us the call. And I was like, dog, we are not big at all. It's just me and my brother putting together stuff. We have no idea what we're doing sometimes. Sometimes we don't know where we go. We just be out. We'd be like, oh, we listen to him. And somebody will be like, I know him. I'll be like, oh, okay, well, can you introduce us? That's literally how we meet people. We're not trying to shy away from people or anything. Even the Fifth Ward JP interview, A1 came through, connected us with that, and was like, Doug, do you want it? I was like, absolutely. No, we love Fifth Ward JP. And it's things like that where I was like, Houston has been really open to letting us connect with anybody. So really appreciative of all the artists that are out. Really appreciative.
Really. Also, A1 is our cousin. He's our unofficial third member. Love you to death, Aubrey. Once again, this is Been a good podcast. I've been one of your hosts, Avery, like a very nice guy. We're signing off with my brother. D.R. Douglas, also known as Just Divine. He's my brother, yes. In My Humble Opinion podcast, and we've been here with Boi Dru. You can find him at Boi Dru Music. He's also in your phone. Just listen. In My Humble Opinion podcast. Thank you and good night. Humbly yours.